Is this working? Wow. Is this working? Wow. Okay, cool. So there is a feedback loop, but it's so long. Okay, cool. So there is a feedback loop, but it's so long. Okay, cool. So there is a feedback loop, but it's so long. Yes. Brilliant. Yes. Brilliant. Yes. Wow. I will leave this feedback loop in a moment. I will leave this feedback loop in a moment. Oh wow! I have to hear my own awkward laugh. I have to hear my own awkward laugh repeated forever. Repeated forever. That's my curse. I'll mute that. Good. No more feedback loops, and 0 viewers, which is just perfect. So no one saw that, even though I think I've set it to upload these, so someone can watch that in the future. So it's the completely arbitrary pressure of performance may make me a better coder, or it may not. I will now post the links in various places to those who might be interested. I'm attempting to stream. I'm going to work on zio-app. I don't know how streaming works whatsoever. I see that there are 2 people watching. Look at you 2 people. One of them might be me. Let me close that. No, that might be someone who's not me. Yeah, cool. Hey, not me. So I'm going to be if you're a person, you can I guess chat. I really don't know how this works. Chat. Oh, that sounded like a strange command. You don't have to chat if you don't want to, but if you do exist and you aren't just a number, you are welcome to type things in, and I'll try to remember to look at this window. I'm sure people who know what they're doing put this in some other second screen or something that I do not currently have, so that's all I got. Maybe it'll make some kind of notification sound, or maybe not. Anyway, I'm going to be coding on something called zio-app. There's probably also a way to, put that as some subtitle bar or something, so other people who join later can realize what I'm in the process of doing. But I'm going to first post this link so that I can have potentially less or more people. No, more would be the opposite of less people in this void. So I'm also going to post it in here. I am streaming. If anyone wants to laugh at me as I attempt to figure this out and also code. Okay. Well, then it's time to get to work. I'll check the... Oh, hey, Adam! Adam Painter! Ahoy! Twitchers! Twitchers. Yeah, there's definitely... I'm sure I've only seen a couple of streams before, and I'm pretty sure they don't have their, stream manager window open to address people's... That's cool. There's a translation of this meant smile. I like it. But anyway, that's to be figured out at some later date. Yeah, no pressure. Feel free to leave. I'm happy coding alone. It's usually what I do, but I thought I'd try this to create an unnecessary air of performance. And thank you. It's been really satisfying to do open source stuff that other people care about instead of just silly little projects for myself. What I'm working on is this thing called zio-app for now, which isn't really much of anything at the moment. That's not true. It's something. I'll show you what it is. It's this thing. We'll take a look. It does a few things. So currently it's a CLI tool, I guess is its main entry point. And you have a couple of commands. You can make a new application. It'll sort of do like git or 8. style or create React app, build you an opinionated template, except not Giterate, because with Giterate you need to decide which of these millions of templates that are all outdated and crusty and aren't really going to work and haven't been updated in years. That's what outdated means. Is should I choose? You don't make that decision. It'll just give you a template that is opinionated. And currently, it obviously uses Zio and Laminar and some other stuff. And then, if you say zio-app dev, it'll activate the live reloading dev mode. What does that do? Well, I'll go here. It's 2 in the morning here, so yeah, please, no pressure. Go away whenever. And yeah, no, it's also been fun because the Scala community is very global, so I'm used to people are always waking up and going to sleep. Sue squared. Whoa, 6 people. That number. So yeah, I think it's probably a giant faux pas. I've already said this, but now that the number has tripled from 2 to a whopping 6, I will say I'm sure it's a Twitch faux pas to stream one's own stream manager console, but I have no idea how this works. Stu, you are a professional streamer, so if you can give me some hot streaming tips, that would be amazing. I probably need a second screen, but it's kind of cool. So far, I figured out audio and how to get my full screen going, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm in the middle of showing off what I'm going to be working on ostensibly. It's not just going to be meta Twitch commentary. I'm going to be attempting to work on something that I've been working on. Said the word work too many times in that sentence, which is called zio-app, which is this sort of opinionated full stack, whatever. My North Star is Ruby on Rails, but, in Scala and better. What I wish Ruby on Rails was today or something. Some sort of an opinionated app generator and also workflow enhancement tool. So right now, I have nothing here on localhost 3000, but then if I type in zio-app dev in a project that I've created with zio-app new, I get 2 file watching SBT consoles, and I can sort of minimize or maximize one or the other with these friendly hotkeys. It's built a little TUI library. It does all sorts of fancy re-rendering itself. Very cool. If I make the font smaller. I built an error. I created an error in my app. So let's actually go to code now, which is apparently in this Zio overflow project. I've created some kind of compilation error, but I'd like to show what I've done. Stream this. All right, didn't stream this. I zoomed this earlier because I'm more of a zoom man. I've had more zooming experience. So yes, I've done something terrible here in my experimentation earlier. What did I do? It's good to start with a nice bug. I created a lot of nonsense here. I don't think I need to specify this or this. And what are you unhappy with, IntelliJ? I don't think I changed anything since this worked. Maybe I fixed it. Maybe it didn't like that. Yeah, okay, I fixed it. I didn't like that type description. So now I go here and I get this, which is a Laminar front end that's hitting a back end. And I can sort of type things, and I made an animation library for Laminar, which this is using, hence the pretty animations as I filter these things. So basically this is all the Zio issues, or lots of Zio issues scraped, GitHub issues scraped from multiple repos, and you can sort of zoom them open or closed and search for other projects or whatever derived. Like what are everything that has to do with testing. Cool. IntelliJ test reporter. That sounds fun. So it's kind of just a dummy application. Now going to poke into here. Okay, cool, good. Haven't missed anything. But yeah, still maintain that sick viewer count. 5, I lost one. Yep, that's what you get for the faux pas. Of streaming one's own console. But yeah, I'm going to be extending zio-app, which is kind of this both tool for building opinionated apps, but then it also comes with some tooling as well. So I've basically made a version of Lee Haoyi's AutoWire that allows you to do something like this. I have this issue service, which is just a Scala trait. It's in the wrong, let me rename this using IntelliJ's magic. So now it's in the right file. It is this method called all issues, which is going to get me a list of GitHub issues, which has, just some very light information stolen from the GitHub API. And I would like to be able to use this trait on both the front and back end. So the front end, I do this thing where I say derive client.gen an issue service, which I then use with Laminar to call that all issues method, turn it into an event stream, which is what Laminar speaks, and then pipe it into this reactive variable. which is basically just a variable, except it also emits a stream of changes every time it is updated. And I use that to get this filtered issues bit where I merge it with the content of another variable, which is just a string, and then I filter the issues based on the string, and that's how that whole searching functionality works there. And then I pipe that into some animatable thing that'll render each issue, the issue view. It's kind of like a React component. It takes a changing issue over time in case it gets updated, which it won't currently, and then just does some ugly inline CSS styling, or not CSS even, just inline styles. And then in the back end, which is a totally separate part of the code base, I can derive routes for this issue service. So all I have to do at the end of the world is provide an implementation for it. And it's right here, and it's very basic. I just delegate to this other service that I made. So I wanted to keep issue services this high-level sort of protocol trait, and then using Z layers, I make a layer out of this case class, which will lift its parameter into a layer dependency. So when I rely on this issue service, it will then prompt me for its dependencies, which I use this issue repository because it needs one of those. And then that itself needs a database connection, which is provided by this Quill thing. So the issue repository has the actual sort of database querying logic and some boilerplate. So this is what's actually doing the work. But the nice thing is you kind of just write a trait, and then you can call it on the front end as though it were on the back end, and then you don't have to worry about making any routes for it. So that's kind of the promise of AutoWire, except I'd never quite got that to compile for me. But I like the idea of it. So I made one that's kind of more opinionated and just uses, it generates routes for Zio HTTP. And it generates a client with STTP that works in JavaScript. And so you don't have to make any decisions, and it just works, at least for this simple case so far. I have to extend it. So that's one of the things I need to do. I need to add the ability to sort of configure it, explore authorization and authentication support, maybe streaming if I want to return a stream of events here, a UStream perhaps of something, maybe of just issues, the user's favorite issue or top issue, and always display that. Maybe this could automatically connect over WebSockets to the backend, and that might be cool. I'd like that. So yeah, definitely a lot to do. It's kind of this toolkit that I'm working on, but I was thinking where to go next, and I was thinking of, well, let me, even though this is very silly, but I don't want to, in case there are people actually watching, okay, and asking questions, I would just look there. Luckily, no questions. But yes, we'll see what happens. Okay. This is mostly just to prompt me to, yes, practice. Practice for speaking clearly. And it's going to keep me on task. I can't go down Wikipedia rabbit holes, at least not ones that I want to bring other people down. And I wouldn't want to torture anyone with sort of rampant Wikipedia exploration, as is wont to take over my consciousness from time to time. So the next step I wanted to do was, okay, I made some terminal UI library, which is this thing, which is kind of cool. Kind of has like the code is I could show the code. zio-app. So I made this kind of view library, and it has this, it's kind of was based off of Swift UI. So here's an example of something. It's kind of verbose right here. I'm rendering these two views, and we'll see what these look like. So yeah, I have these two Zio apps that are next to each other. So this bottom one we'll focus on. It's this, right? So horizontally aligned are these two other views of the text Zio app. They both do the same stuff. So Zio, cool, I guess. I'll put that there. And it looks terrible so yeah, Zio app and Zio cool. Both of these text boxes are centered, and they're bordered. So this text will be centered in its whatever situation. And this will sort of grow by default to take up as much room as it can. And they'll each be bordered, and they'll have yellow text, and that text will be underlined in the first case, or in this case, it'll be red and reversed. So it looks like that. So they're pretty similar. Then I have some padding on the bottom. I was testing some stuff with rendering issues. I think I fixed them. And then I render them to this height. However, there's also possible to render it with sort of the full height, even though I'm not sure if this will work with IntelliJ. So it'll take up sort of the, yeah, so it does not work here, but it does work in the real terminal, and that's what's sort of using to take up all the available space it has. But yeah, it's kind of like a nice declarative, UI library for the terminal. And I start two SBT processes and then pipe their output into something. I built a little like app wrapper that processes streams and then updates some state. It's kind of like the Elm architecture, and this is the Vue DSL for it, based on SwiftUI, because I kind of like SwiftUI's DSL. It's pretty all right. But there are limitations. First of all, it's okay, but one problem, there's no syntax highlighting. I could get that to work. I was thinking of maybe struggling to get that to work, but then you're kind of always boxed in with the terminal UI library to, you have a certain, there's a very low upper bound of potential niceness that you have. And I want to escape that. There's some cool tools. I mean, I used LazyGit, which I have an alias for, which is pretty nice. And, obviously it was kind of inspired by that a little bit. You can go through and add stuff, and it has all these extensions, and it's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty nice. And it makes sense for Git, I think. But for something like, did I close it? Yes, I did. For something like this, when you're only going to be starting it for like potentially a long development session, it could be nice instead to actually have some sort of front-end app. Why can't it look cool like this? Why can't you have shortcuts and a server and like a UI for it? So why not like fully dog food the whole purpose of it as well, and make a front-end back-end app that is shipped with this little binary. Yeah, right now, by the way, if anyone, I'm not sure if anyone's still here, but if you are, you can do brew tap kit length in zio-app, and then you could brew install zio-app and then try it yourself. I think it should all work now. I think I fixed all the problems. If you're curious about that. And it uses, what does it use? GraalVM, so it's very fast. No JVM startup time. It's just right away, which is super great. There is still obviously a SBT startup time, but yeah, can't really avoid that. I guess I could if I made a background compiling thing first and then used the experimental lightweight client, but that gave me issues when I tried that. So yeah, but I don't like the fact that I don't have syntax highlighting here. It's kind of ugly. I guess I'll still have to take care of that on the front end. Like there's if I actually ran this in SVT, I think these would be blue and this would be green, and there'd be some like red if there's an error, which is, it makes, this is hard to read. I kind of got to squint and see, oh yeah, starting. Okay, there we go. But that's not all. I want to add eventually generators and other sorts of indicators, and I'm sort of limited on real estate here and what you could reasonably do with the terminal UI. And so I'm thinking, what if you just hit the same command, but instead of this showing up, a tab opens in your browser, and it has basically the same information, but it looks nice, and you could do more with it. And yeah, you have a lot more styling and functionality niceties. I think that would be cool, and I think that's possible. I haven't tried it yet, but that would be sort of that would be a next step. Maybe it's not the most important next step, but it's the one that sort of has me excited at the possibility, because I think I've fully exhausted the excitement I have for building terminal UIs at the moment. I'm happy with this, but it's kind of annoying me, and there are lots of terrible edge cases. I think I've worked through most of them already, but probably not. There's an infinite number of weird ANSI related terminal crazy things you have to do to get it to render normally. Yeah. So, questions. Clone build works too. Yes. I only know. I don't know what. If you have another tool that's like Homebrew that's useful, let me know. I use Homebrew, and I tried looking into Corsair, but that wasn't very. I don't know. It seemed like too many steps. I had to like open a PR. With Homebrew, I could just make my own repo, and then boom, it was done. Maybe it's easy to do that with something else. I'll need to look into it. But yeah, you can clone it and then just run CLI/native image. I should add that to the development docs. In fact, let me do that right now. So we can also do installation via Homebrew for the Mac, via source, and then you would just git clone this this repo. What is it again? There we go. I like SSH. I don't have. There's no Vim mode in this. That's nonsense. Git clone that, and I guess I should do this. No, I won't. Oh man, no Vim mode. I'm gonna go crazy. And then you can cd into zio-app, and then you can run sbt CLI/native image, and then maybe show native image. I'm not sure where you'd put the show. Show? If you want to see the output, maybe that. But something like this, and then it should show it via source. Okay, and that has confused it with the next line. Oh, because I forgot to close a thing. Now it's white, so that's cool. Yeah, it was dim, and then it got bright. So that's a clue for you. Okay, so now there's multiple instructions. Boom. The pressure of live coding already paying off in better documentation. Okay, privately working on a laminar application that uses Apollo client to connect to a Caliban backend. Yes. Yeah, I mean, that was part of the evolution for my, that sort of helped to set the lower bar for me for what I could tolerate with a full stack application was, using Apollo and types and GraphQL, you could co-generate your TypeScript endpoints. And with the Scala JS backend I first was experienced, that was basically the first time I experienced that, and that was with Sangria generating routes for TypeScript, and then using, TypeScript React, and that was pretty nice. Aha! Yes, it indeed. Oh, hey, Ghost Dog. That's awesome. Oh, look, people arrived. I'm so happy. But yeah, that was super nice, but obviously it can be nicer. And I think the sort of the Lee Howye AutoWire always seemed really cool to me, except I was never able to get it to work, as I mentioned. So the other day I just tried making a simple version of it, and it worked out spectacularly. Obviously not fully featured yet, but it works for my very basic purposes. And then I want to sort of build around it. A few weeks I tried zio-app on Ubuntu and was not able to get it to work. Maybe I tried again after all your fixes. Yeah, there were definitely some issues. I tried to do some sort of GitHub workflow magic to, I deleted it. As you could see, the most recent PRs involve cursing GitHub actions and then destroying certain things from it. I set up this thing that would do the native image build on a publish and then update. It'll create a release or add this little zip thing to it, and it would even push it would update my homebrew repo with a tap with a new version in the link. It was so cool, but it also only worked 1 out of every 10 pushes, and I don't know why. And I tried it, and I lost whatever. Any patience I had, it went away, and I was just like, I'm not going to update the CLI too often, at least the binary version too often, the bin. The bin, as the cool kids call it. So I reverted back to manual processes. But yeah, Caliban and GraphQL is definitely great as well. You probably shouldn't just use GraphQL only to get that full stack sort of type safety, even though that's what I did for a long time because it was the easiest way to accomplish it with the tools I had. You probably also want the guarantees of GraphQL, but it's also, really nice. That's probably what I would do if I also needed a public API. But in this case, it's just kind of a closed system. And because some new people joined, the current state of things for this app is this is very silly. This is sort of an example app, and it just on the back end I have a database, and I use Quill to hit that database, and into that database I have shoveled a whole bunch of GitHub issues because every time I need to think about a cruddy app, I just think, okay, what do I know about the world around me? And all I can think of is GitHub. Because I've become sheltered by my technology. So yes, GitHub API is my go-to API. I think it's better. When I was in the coding bootcamp years ago, everyone kept using the Star Wars API, and that that I've fully exhausted caring about that. So the GitHub API is my new Star Wars API. And yeah, so you can sort of do some live searching, and it's a full stack app, and it works via this. I already showed this off, so I can't just keep. I shouldn't for those 2 people who were with me since the beginning, my loyal followers. I don't want to bore you to death, but basically there's a shared. There's 3 modules, a front end, a back end, and shared. In shared, I describe a repo. In shared, I describe the models, and then in the back end, all I do is say derive routes, gen, pass in the trait, and then I just pass it into my server, and that will field all the that'll handle the requests and route them appropriately to the layer, the issue service here. Obviously, there is only one issue, and these can have arguments as well, and they're properly deserialized. And then on the front end, you wire yourself a client, and then you can just call this as though it were a local Zio method. It just returns a UIO of a list of issues. Obviously, that effect hits the backend and is properly routed, and all its parameters serialized. So it's like an RPC thing, which is exactly what AutoWire is. So it's literally AutoWire, except I could get it to work, and it's opinionated, such that I could get it to work without any fussing. Though it needs authorization and being able to configure the backend URL and stuff like that, instead of just being hard-coded to localhost 8080. Okay, so now I've said that again, and I will move on to actually coding some stuff. Oh, and now up to 9. Wow, craziness. Whoa, you're gonna watch me slowly evolve into a sort of having no more conscience or caring. As I slowly burst into the double digits, I will lose all of my past memories and shed all my friendships. And yeah, it'll be interesting to watch me sort of sell out. It'll hopefully happen live here on my very first or third stream. The first one are just me counting numbers and then being in awe over this strange interface. What does it mean to raid a channel? What does it mean to clip that? Well, I've done it. Oh, sorry. So I volunteered to build a tool just so that I could finally use Caliban at work, which is why I'm doing front-end WoW. Oh, nice. Yes. Nice. That's amazing. Oh, good. And you're using Laminar too. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. I think you reached out to me about this. But also, yeah, let me know. Well, you've probably done more production Laminar than me then. I've only sort of used it for toy purposes, though I've had a lot of fun with it. Now you got to use animations. Animus examples. This is my animation library. Yay. It's kind of pretty. Sort of. Yay. I can type. It's very fast. Animus, what was it? Animus testing? I had another. I just have too many. There, Animus testing. I was right. I have too many Surge. Surge makes it too easy to just post some stuff. Look at all the dots. Look at all the dots moving. That's so many dots. It's very fast. Can't do that with React. It's kind of my load test thing. Works pretty nicely. Okay. Anyway, enough repping my own libraries. I'm going to actually code on stuff now. So yes, the idea is to take what is currently this terminal user interface for starting up these library loading things, and before actually investing any more time into this, because I think for every 10 minutes I spend working on a terminal UI with all the edge cases there, I could get an hour's worth of front end coding done with Laminar, and it'll look nicer and have better features. And I don't really see it being a limiting factor, as this is intended for sort of local development anyway, so you don't really need to use the terminal UI. As nice as that can feel, it's kind of, I'm not going to build an Electron app or anything, but I think I want to see about just booting up a thing in the terminal. So yeah, I'm going to get into that now, sort of paranoiacally making sure there aren't any questions that I'm letting languish. So if there are, forgive me. But you'll notice when I check them, because I'll come to this page because I have no second screen, and I don't know how you're supposed to do this streaming thing. Cool. So okay, I canceled that. So not going to work in Zio Overflow. I'm going to work in the zio-app thing, which is right here, luckily. Even though I'll keep that open because I might need to copy pasta some stuff. And right now, there lives a few projects in here. One is CLI. This is the CLI. I probably will have to either, still use this, maybe change the name. It has a few things in it. It has not really a Giterate template anymore, because I removed Giterate and I just wrote my own simple version of Giterate, which just renames folders with some special keywords in it, because Giterate kept breaking on me for strange reasons. So I just I walk the path, I filter directories, I rename directories, I rename file contents so I don't need the full power of Giterate, and it was annoying. I went through such hell to get it to work on what was it? Graal VM, and had all these weird exceptions, and then I've deleted it. Sometimes you just got to realize, wait, I can re-implement this. It's hard to figure out that boundary though, because it's nice to use off-the-shelf stuff, but also if you spend like multiple hours just trying to jam a Lego block into a Duplo block, then you're having a bad time. It's kind of just, build your own house from that point, I guess. I don't know. Make your own nanobots. So there's that. There is an examples folder, which uses this core thing, which has the macros that I mentioned. So there is a derive routes for the backend for the JVM, and then a derive client for the front end. And the macro implementations are really tiny. It's for both of them, it's 118 lines of code, modulo some functions that it delegates out to. But the macros are pretty easy, and I think pretty complete. No, probably not complete. There's a lot that needs to get done. I don't handle errors currently. I mean, it'll break if you throw an error, but it won't. I guess it's not handling them then. It's just yeah. Or STTP will do something with it. I don't know. It's not fully zio-ified though. Okay. So that's what that is. That's the core thing. But we'll be focusing, I think, today, or I'll be focusing with your eyes as sort of psychological pressure to make me a better person and programmer, into sort of translating this from being a terminal UI into a laminar UI and being a full stack Scala application. Just check the questions, as you saw, of which there were none, and so my heart sank. But I will power on alone. So yes, currently there's this case class called dev mode. Why did I make it oh yes, I made this thing called terminal app, which is this sort of frameworky thing. It's basically an Elm architecture for the terminal, which is what this whole zio-app dev thing uses. So you have some kind of input. Is that what I is? What is I? Where does I come from again? Ah, yes. Because I wanted to listen for like a stream of events as well, I believe. Yes, terminal event can either be, what is this? Where did I put system event? Oh, it got separated from its trait. That's not good. This is clearly a very hacky thing. But basically, there's like a read. There's a render. There's a render update loop. So every time the user hits a keyboard command, it'll call this update function with the terminal event. One of which is going to be sort of a series of system events, which is like keyboard presses. So you could respond to up, down, left, right, HJKL, Vim stuff. And there's a current state, and your job is to return the next state, or to say that you're done and return a value. So these things can return values such that you can kind of write these apps in sort of interesting ways. Do I have any examples of this? Oh yeah, here we go. So this is kind of cool. There's one called, let me run this. I'm definitely like not going to get anywhere if I just show off what I've already done, but I'm excited about this. And this can kind of be its own app too. Maybe I should separate it if I'm about to just outmode it. Like, it's kind of cool. Run main. Oh, I think I should do CLI/run main. And then if it's helpful at all, it will let me know everything I have. So there's that terminal app example. So here we go. It's compiling. Hopefully it works. Let's look at the code. So first I'm choosing a number from 1 to 6. And I'm rendering each of these numbers with this render function. Then I'm getting some input, I guess, line input run. The API is a little strange. And then I'm running this fancy component, passing in both the number I received, which is optional, because it could like keep an empty list or something, and then also the line output tries to, I guess, turn into an integer. So now here we go. Choose. I get to choose one of these, and I'll choose 5. Lovely. And now I can input something, so I guess it had to be a number. So 1, 2, 3, and there we go. Then I can get this fancy input where it has, I guess it looks like the left and right padding is dependent on this number somehow. When I go up, it goes one way, and when I go down, it goes another way. So yeah, wow. Beautiful. And then can I enter to exit, or no? Control C maybe? There we go, Control C. So there's no graceful exit currently. So it's kind of like a monad for these little composable, bite-sized terminal stuff. So that's one thing you can do with it, but you can also render it in full screen mode. Here, full screen mode is off, but with zio-app dev was before, it's obviously a full screen mode, and it operates a little differently. This is just one. It's not using it in that monadic interface. It's just one thing that has its own state. But yeah, I thought it'd be cool to sort of try to do both in one. So you can have little like interactive UIs, which is what happens when you do zio-app new, I believe. I'm actually not sure if I have it using this. Oh yeah, but I wanted to because you cannot exit out of a get line in Zio right now, unfortunately. There's no way to do that except for Control D, which kills everything. You can't just sort of gracefully exit out of one. It's actually, I think, a Java problem or something. So that's why I need this. Anyway, I go down tangents. I realized about myself after having to edit myself in videos so recently, so often with those symposium things. So what am I talking about anymore? Yeah, I want to replace this. It's a terminal app, that's what it is. But we could just basically replace the rendering portion. Not everything needs to be destroyed, because there is some good stuff in here. Well, not good stuff, but stuff that we can use. For instance, there is this run sbt command, which gets you a stream of strings, a stream of a chunk of strings, which is all of the output from running an sbt command. So I use zio process to run sbt, then in sbt running a command, such as front-end fastlink.js or back-end restart. And then I make a stream of potential errors, which is kind of ugly looking, but I get the zio process is pretty cool. I get the standard error output, I get the lines that emits, and then I see, okay, if you got waiting for lock, well, that means that you tried to start up SBT at the same time as some other SBT, which is obviously what I'm doing all the time by starting up two simultaneously. And I try to introduce a slight delay, but nonetheless, this still happens 1 out of every 10 times, and therefore it'll die. So I just have this. If this error is emitted, I just retry. Right here, you can actually see it. I catch some errors. If it's waiting for lock, I recursively call myself with the same command. It's kind of cool, even if this is a little ugly looking. Anyway, this is totally useful. This has nothing to do with the terminal, except for the fact that SBT is running in the terminal. But this is what I would like to use to run these and then get the output and then instead pipe it over a WebSocket connection to the front end. So I can run both SBT commands as I'm doing currently. So yeah, what am I doing? Let's go to where I'm actually running this. Yeah, here it is. I'm merging 3 streams. One of which is backend lines, which I map to this event. I have to map everything to these events now. I don't necessarily have to do that, depending in the front end. But these get piped into my little update loop. Those are what those user events were, where that's what that I parameter was. It was the user's event. So you can boot up a terminal UI accepting a stream of user events, which is exactly what this is, run with events. So here's I'm running this dev mode thing, and the events are a stream of these events, which are just really update one of these two things. Update backend lines. Here's some new front end lines. Here's some new backend lines. And then also I merge it with launching Vite, which is the live reloading front end. Who gave Kid a cringe account? I did. I don't know why I did. Oh look, I got achievements and things. It's keeping me going. I'm like a hamster in a wheel. Yeah, so that's exciting. My bitrate dropped. Oh no, I failed everyone. What happened? What happened to me back then when my bitrate dropped? Where is everything? Oh, not this. Okay. Hopefully this helps me think more clearly and just doesn't turn me into a maniac. or more of one. Okay, so this is all totally valid code, and yes, what it does down here is, so it merges these three things. It starts these three streams. This one, drain, is kind of a weird. I don't necessarily love the streaming API names that exist in the world, but I guess it's just kind of new to me. There's more things that streams can do than functional effects can do, and they need more names for them. So drain basically runs the stream just for its effects, but emits no elements. So which will then emit a stream of nothing, because it will never emit any elements, but I still want to run the effects of basically launching Vite. However, if one of these exit now, because these are all merged, if one of these get interrupted or quit, which they will if they die in a way that doesn't retry itself, then it will shut down this, because all of these streams are connected by being merged together, which is pretty awesome. It's pretty neat that it will do that. Definitely learned a lot about writing stream code. Adam was very helpful with that, Adam Fraser. Because basically a nice thing to do is to merge all. I'm doing a similar thing here, except I'm using merge all unbounded instead of individual merges. I don't know why, but I am. I think it's basically the same idea. Because I want to emit from this stream of chunks. First, I want to start out with SBT command, so it just shows that immediately because there's this delay for SBT to start. Then I want to get the actual line stream, and then I want this error stream to appear, which will basically kill all the other streams if any of them fail, which is kind of cool. And then I scan the results and append them to a giant chunk. So it'll just keep adding to a chunk of all the lines, because these give me one line at a time, but I want all the lines for my purposes. And then the retry. So it's pretty high level and kind of cool. There's a lot of stuff in there if you think about it. And this is the stuff that we can use, basically. And everything else, the whole terminal UI app, that's all fated for the recycling bin or the dumpster pile. Cool. Whoa. Whew. All right. So, well, how do you breathe on these things? Now I gotta luckily I have a pile of LaCroix next to me, so that'll keep me going. I guess I don't need to fill I could be more casual about it. Maybe this will be good for me. I can become more casual. But I do feel pressure to be performatively stupid. I probably won't attempt to resist it. We'll see. Okay. So, now that I can explain a lot, or I can talk a lot rather, but can I think whilst under pressure? We will see if that is possible. So I thought about this earlier. I sat outside away from a computer with my cat on the porch and on a leash, and I pet her, and I thought to myself about how I might accomplish this. And so I will, for the lack of writing code, write a little comment here and say that, okay, I still want to have a binary. I still want you to be able to, brew install zio-app, and I still want you to be able to run zio-app dev to start up this server. So we're going to have to basically have a little web app. If there's going to be an HTTP server, I'll use the zio HTTP, and I will want a laminar to write the front end with. And I'll basically have to, treat it like I'm deploying an app, except instead of to Heroku, I'm deploying it to a binary. So there are a couple questions I need to figure out. Like, I haven't, done a whole bunch of jar deploying with Graal, but if I do want to say serve some, main.js and an index.html so that I can serve these from my little mini web server that I bundle up in here in this little complicated app, is that possible? That's a question. Probably. How to group or bundle static assets in a Graal VM thing. I don't know how to do. Oh, come on. I don't know how to do that. But I don't necessarily need to worry about that right away. That's not necessarily a fun task. But that is a to-do item. So I'll say to-do. Will that make it yellow? Yeah, nice. Too yellow. It's distracting. Ta-da. I can't do the yellow underlines. I can't do anything. Todd. There we go. That doesn't disturb me. Okay. So there's that. And then there is, zio-app dev. zio-HTTP. Going to use everything, just going to make a front end app, which means locally, I don't need to worry about any of that. I will have some kind of, run function. Currently, what is the main function here anyway? It is is it main? No. Is it? Yes. Yes. There's a bunch of like rendering stuff, render invalid error, and that's if you screw up, it'll tell you to make sure you're running it from the right repository. So let me, now that I've mentioned that, zio-app dev, you'll see that it'll start up SBT, but it doesn't yet know that, hey, this doesn't have those commands you're trying to run in it. It's got to first start up, and then it'll fail, and then because we did the parsing of those commands, it'll figure out which one it was, and then we match on that sealed trait and can say, hey, are you sure you're running zio-app dev in the directory created using zio-app new? And then you could say, oh no, I wasn't. I'm sorry, and then you can fix that problem for yourself. So that's kind of what this ugly chunk of code here does. Creating a template project, that creates the thing using that template generator, which uses my little rename function and clones also. I clone the repo. I clone the whole repo to a temp directory, and then I rename it. I move it to your current directory and then rename all the generic stuff to the name you provided. So kind of ugly code, but I'm glad I didn't spend too much time polishing it because most of it is going away, potentially. And so this is the main entry point. So if your args contain, I actually use the args. I never really use args, but I did here because it was minimal enough of a CLI that's fine. So if it's new, it creates a template project. If it's dev, it runs dev mode, providing a custom layer, TULI full screen true, catching certain errors to render them, otherwise pretty printing a cause and saying bye-bye, and exiting code, exit coding. And then otherwise it's rendering a little help blip thing there, which is very nice. See, vertical, horizontal, cyan. Look, it's kind of nice, right? It's a nice little declarative API. That, of course, renders Zio app. No, it'll do that. It'll say, oh, new endeavor, your commands. Very lovely, I think. So I probably will pull that out into some other library because it's kind of nice if you're in the game of building terminal UIs, which I often end up in that game, drafted against my better inclinations. And then you just print it because that's how you render stuff to the terminal. But yeah, so this is basically what I can start out by doing, just ripping this thing to shreds. But before that, let's take a look at if I've done anything interesting. No, I have not. I've taken some very important notes, and I've sort of deleted a comment. Or no, no, that's not a comment. I've just rearranged some lines. Okay, not important at all. I will discard all of this stuff, and I'll remember my to-do here. So let's discard, and let us be good citizens and make a new branch and call it RIP TUI, because it's important to try to be clever, even if it adds unnecessary overhead time to your development cycle and confuses you later as you try to remember what you've been clever about. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad I can return here thank you for your support. No. Oh, Nathan Knox. I can figure that out. Now I know who you are. Cool hacker alias. No. No, I'm sure I'll devolve into stupidity. But yes, I've always been a very obnoxiously class clownish type of person, and it's hard to fight off an entire life's worth of impulses. But we'll see. I think by attrition, they'll eventually get sort of at least refined, if not winnowed down. Because I kind of like it, even though it doesn't matter even if it's just you, Nathan. That's why exactly. Yeah, I kind of like how it does change your brain a little bit. I obviously wouldn't be talking as much to myself if I were alone, and I probably would be distracted more easily, potentially. Free jokes, baby. Oh, you're not paying? What? I'm not getting paid for this? What the bullshit? I thought that was like my income or something. These are not bitcoins. That's not the number of bitcoins I get per second. Kilobitcoins per second. I thought I was like a trillionaire. Oh, LG command line. Oh yes, yes, yes. Of course, yeah. Let me share. It's Doge to the moon with me then. I've heard. I have no holdings in really anything. I'm terrible financially. Oh, I'm doing fine, I guess, but I have. What am I talking about? LG, looking good. It is LazyGit. I just have it. I have a which LG. If you type which, by the way, it'll tell you what things are aliased to. So LG is aliased to LazyGit, which you can also install with Brew, I think, Homebrew. It's also on GitHub, and it's just like a really lovely TOI library for Git. It's kind of fancy. You can like search for all these commands, and it's nice. It's nice. I like TOIs, but then half of them are paid. This one's free, and it works fast. And it's mostly great, and it has like Vim shortcuts too, so I can HJKL my way around town. Other superpower tip. Let me enlighten. Dang, what does that mean? Damn, I'm angry. What are these faces that they have? Very strange. I assume it's something to do with Linux. I will probably need... He's so sad, and he's got tiny purple ears. But I'll have to investigate that. What? Oh, I think that's a link. Let's go there. Not a website. I'll have to investigate that. I really don't know how to, but I will take a look at how to like build Graal. Maybe it's a Graal problem, or maybe it's my own problem. And it's when you try to do SBT CLI native image. Directory not empty. I have zero idea what that would be. I think CLI native image, the command tries to install native image on your computer if you don't have it already. I don't know. It's doing some weird stuff. But I apologize, and I'll look into it. It would be nice if everyone could use this, even our Linux friends, such as thyself. Okay, so I feel safe to delete stuff with reckless abandon right now. Or rather, I can keep the create template. I can create the help menu. Really what I just need to change is this dev mode business. So I think in order to have a blank slate, I will make myself a... Oh, wait, I was going to show off something really cool first. It's my favorite thing in the world. And for all 8 of you, this will be worth listening to if you don't know if the letters FASD mean nothing to you. FASD, what that means is, here I am in my, users kit Scala zio-app directory, but maybe I wanted to go to this overflow project I was working in. I could just type in z-over, and now I'm here. And it's a different working directory. Yes, it happens to be in the same subdirectory, but I could also go to like down, and now I'm in bare markdown export, which is, I guess, a folder I go to more than downloads, at least in the terminal. But you can just jump around, and now I'm in downloads. And I'll go back to zio-app. So it's basically every time you see it into stuff, CD into stuff, it tracks like a frequency thing, and there's some frequency tracking, which frequency recency algorithm thing. So things eventually will lower in priority if you even if you use them like a billion times, but 3 years ago to new things. It's a good thing for this sort of thing. Man, see how many tangents? I can't even. It's like a Zeno's paradox. As a person, is my mouth. So anyway, it's very nice. And you can also do it for like, I could do V and then it's named like ZSHRC, and this will open it up in Vim. I think I might have some important things. I haven't audited my ZSHRC for screen sharing. Maybe like I have a GitHub token in there. I think I do. I should not have that in there. And so you can sort of just do any command actually. There's, let's say which V. So you can say F-E editor. So this will, with whatever ever file it finds with its little magical finding algorithm, it will then open that in this editor. But you can have it open in anything, or like IntelliJ or whatever, or make different aliases for different things. And what does Z do? Okay, it's fast CD-D. So you want to download FASD, brew install that shit, and then I use oh my Zeesh, also brew install that shit. Or actually, you can't brew install that shit. You have to go to their website. And then there's a plugin for it, so you get these little aliases that I use, like for Git and stuff too, which is all very nice. That's my workflow tips that I share with everyone. So there's an executable generated. Directory not empty exception. Okay, this is probably because it's trying to clone. It's probably trying to clone. It's probably the little thing that I do to clone the repo. So I don't know why. Interesting. So it generates correctly. That's awesome. Might be a permission thing, but that's definitely because what I do. And when you say new, it does this create template project thing. And the first thing it does is it forks the repo, or it clones the repo and does that in a fork. So it's trying to make a temp directory and then call git clone into that temp directory, so that by the time you're done coming up with a clever name, the actual copying and renaming of that is immediate. So you don't have to sort of do the whole giterate thing where usually it, I think, clones it after you come up with a name or something. I forget. Whatever. It's to make it real fast, but it also might be not safe or something, or evil. I don't know. It's kind of how giterate does it. They clone it. You need the file somehow on your computer to make the files on your computer. So yeah, I don't know why though. Probably some permissioning thing. But that's good to know that it's not. Yes, I'll start selling t-shirts as well so I can get that bit rate real high. To the moon, as they say. To Mars or something. Okay, so back to the actual coding. I'm really good at not doing that. So this is basically what I want to change, or at least most of this, and instead make a server. I forget if I've already done that. No, I got distracted because I wanted to show off fast, FASD. So let's make a new class. Let's call it, I'm going to call it backend. And why am I going to do that? It's because I could basically then go into here and copy the backend from here. And yeah, except for the package name, everything else will be like this. Except I'm not going to use my fancy routing stuff right now, I don't think, because basically I want it to be streaming, so I want WebSockets. So that's to be decided. And I need zio-HTTP, and I have no layers currently. And so I can just have this be very silly. I can mostly delete all this. So yes, I haven't saved myself much time. But nonetheless, I'm going to now copy paste stuff. Yes, I treat my own other libraries and experiments as my own Stack Overflow, and just kind of I'm like a dung beetle of code, slowly rolling my little mini mountain framework from file to file, just keeping the best dung and discarding the derelict dung. Dumb derelict dung. Dom Dorn. Okay. I don't think Dom Dorn is here, but I very much like Dom Dorn's name, and so I said it because it had a lot of D's in it as well. Okay, so we're going to go to the CLI, and I will plop this in here. And oh, I already had it because I have an example. So that's great. I just didn't have it in this package, and my build SBTs can use some love, but it gets the job done, dung beetle style. And I'll rebuild here and see if anyone typed the words LOL at any of my jokes, so I can feel validation. And now I feel the opposite. Now I feel a black hole open inside of me, and now it is equalized. Okay. Awesome. And I've compiled externally as well. So now we need to actually write something. Enough prevaricating. We have a very basic setup for a server, except there's no server. And we'd also like some way of communicating with a front end. A front end, by the way, which we have none of currently. So the question is how to do that in this project, because currently there is no front end aspect to this. And I probably don't want to have it in the same project. I just want to use it for local development and then throw it away. So maybe I should make a CLI front-end project. This is where I find the build aspect very difficult, which is why I clearly want to build an automatic CLI that does it all for me so badly, so I don't have to make these decisions, which are paralyzing all the time. And how to do this? I think the easiest thing to do for now, at least exploratorily, would be to, well, the really easiest thing would be I could just sort of hack the purpose of this example thing. But instead I will go to my build directory and I will make a front end for the CLI, a CLI front end library. which I will also copy from here, because this basically has the exact structure I want, except this is going to be CLI front end, I guess. CLI front end, I guess I should call it zio-app CLI front end to make it really verbose. And then I don't have an Animus version, but of course I want animations. That's the whole point of exiting the terminal, even though you can do terminal animations, and I was going to go down that rabbit hole before that's part of the reason why I have to not do that. And maybe it is the time for some shared settings, because I will probably need some shared information as well. So, okay. CLI front end, and then we'll probably need a shared repo as well, because I'm going to have to share some data types between it. So let's go here and grab this shared, and this will be zio app CLI shared, and so this will be CLI shared. This will depend on CLI shared, and there's no macros yet. We'll see. That'll probably happen inevitably. And then for shared dependencies, I could probably just copy also from this. It's great. I've already done the work elsewhere. Not sure if all of this, but why not? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what we need or don't need. And sorry if this is causing mental anguish for some of you, because this is kind of messy. Yeah, I guess it's already being set elsewhere. I do want boo pickle. I do want Zio. I do want test. I want streams. I don't think I want JSON right now, but it's no harm in keeping it. I guess I could keep my little app framework. STTP, sure, I like you. Probably will delete some of these later. I don't think I need Scala Reflect though. That's for sure. I don't think I want fatal warnings, but I like to be warned in a non-fatal manner sometimes. Let us see. So now I can use .settings, shared settings, and then I can delete a few of these. Zio stream, Zio test, probably this magic thing. I think I published this for JavaScript. We'll see. I might not have, and I'll have to move that back. Zio HTTP, I just want on the back end. And then I can, have shared settings. Laminar front end, Animus front end, Scala Java time. I probably will not be dealing with time, but who knows? And then this lovely WebSocket library, which I actually think probably has already also been updated to the newest version of Laminar, which is 0.13. So let me check out Laminext, which is it has a great wrapper for 0.13.1. Oh, I wonder if then also Laminar has become 0. Does anyone else wish that, what was it, Scala Steward had this to CLI? I do wish that. Maybe I'll use my CLI terminal that I'm removing from this and build that somehow. Okay, 0.13 here, yet for Laminext. Laminext version is going to be 0.13.1, and I'll plop this up here with everything else. And then I'll sort these lines, because everything else is so messy. I may as well have something reasonable. Okay, I wonder if this will build. We'll see. And I'll consult the muses. Do you plan to bring Animus to Scala 3 anytime soon? I'm thinking currently Magnolia is not published for Scala.js, but maybe Scala 3 derivation is enough. Ah, interesting. Magnolia was just published for Scala 3 as a milestone release. Well, thank you, Ghost Dog. And also, thank you for your good question. Awesome. Okay, so I will be, I'm sure. I haven't really done... I want to do Scala 3, but I am addicted to IntelliJ, and doesn't work quite nicely in there yet. And I have certain standards of code formatting. I know Scala format's going to be written for it. I'm very excited about that. I like the braceless syntax into it. Haskell had that, and it's very nice it hasn't caused me too many copy-paste troubles. As you can see, I like copy-pasting, and I've survived with significant white space in the past with auto formatting, and I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for everything about it. Alas, it's not ready for me yet, and I'm going to wait just a little bit. Not very long, but just a little bit. And though I did write a lot of it when my macro library, I did write for Scala 3 as well, even though not the one that's in my repo, but in my PR for which has been merged into the Zio 2.0 branch, which was not fun because it's too safe. They want you to be two type safe in the macros, so you have to go through all these hoops, even if you know what you're doing, which I get. It makes sense. It's reasonable, but it also was painful. What am I doing? Okay. It compiled. Yes, I was waiting for it to succeed, and it worked. And now, because there's some lively discussion... Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I very much rely on autocomplete. Like, I am incredibly... autocomplete is a crutch for me. I need Vim, I need autocomplete, I need some weird bespoke font. I need everything just so. Otherwise, I need ligatures. Beautiful ligatures. Otherwise, I feel mental pain and I feel slow. And it doesn't feel good. So I'll just wait a little bit. I'm sure it'll get there. I'm very excited for it too. Okay. LaCroix. Sip time. Just gonna take 3 more sips here, live on air. Beautiful. Yeah, I've got to see how other people do the Twitch thing, because I don't think they switch over to this screen very often. Oh, okay. I'm curious. Why do you like it more than Zoom? Even though I think I agree. Well, I'll definitely keep doing this. This is fun, and hopefully I'll eventually get stuff done that I need to get done anyway. But sort of two birds with one phone. I'm gonna call up all the birds and tell them to scram. What am I? I can't even make it through a sentence anymore. This is definitely gonna be feeding the the dark manic side of my brain, but I think to maybe entertaining ends if nothing else. What do all these buttons do? Toggle follower only chat. All right. Sorry guys. Follower only time. What's up with that heart? That's creepy. Clear chat history. Ooh. Emote only. Okay, we can get funky. That's fascinating. But yeah, I'm curious why you like it more than Zoom. But I don't disagree. I sound more relaxed. Really? Okay, I believe it. Well, I'm not on video, so I like not being on video. I always sort of like lean in and like my forehead's on the camera. Oh yeah, it is auto recorded. I wonder, is there a way to download these? Probably I could download the recordings, because I think they expire after a certain number of days. Not that I want to keep this forever. It's kind of nice to not have to worry about editing at all as well. That's a big bonus for me. And I think the symposiums are already so long that you're not going to watch it as like a short, bite-sized, curated piece of educational content. It's better live, and it kind of gets stale. Like, it's novelty content, even if it has educational value. It's like the news or something. The good news. Okay, I will attempt to add some more lines of code, but I appreciate all the commentary. I feel warm inside, and yeah. Sweet. Just do it live. Hell yeah. I'm sure there's a way for me to get like for next time. If anyone has any tips or have streamed before, please send them to me on Twitter or DM me. I don't know if I have a message inbox here or just the chat, but send me hints. Maybe I could like see it on my own screen somehow without inelegantly going to this management console panel thing. Okay. Let us see. But I've also seen some Twitches, and they can get pretty frenetic, and there's all these like cha-chings and I don't know. I guess people are paying them, which is nice. But all these sound effects and overlays, and it's all very noisy. I very much liked the. If anyone knows Gary Bernhardt, he's awesome. I watched him a lot when I was first starting, and he had these beautiful, really well done series of videos called Destroy All. I just go there. Destroy All Software. And it was incredibly inspiring. There's a lot of Ruby on Rails stuff, which is kind of what I was doing at the beginning. But it was just kind of from him in the terminal, like 10 or 11 minute long videos. One takes, essentially. I think they are. I don't think they were edited. He just like recorded them over and over again. So it's kind of like the, the Children of Men style, those beautiful one shots. Like, oh, they didn't cut. It's that, it filled me with that sense of awe. Because I'm a nerd. And it was very inspiring. And he's really good at Vim. And, coding is, it's about a lot of things. It's about feeling, it can be, we're emotional beings. It can be about feeling productive and having fun and building little worlds. And it's more than just the end product, I think. Or at least I enjoy. That's why I need all these things in place. The auto formatting, it's fun to feel, you have your own little domain that you can work. Need your tools in order. Wow, I don't even know where that tangent came from. Because I don't know where I am anymore. Button on top left of chat window hides chat. Oh, yes, I could probably, remove panel. I don't want to remove it. Play lo-fi music in the background, see if you like 99. Yeah, I'm not, see, that's what I'm not to insult anyone who has lo-fi music in the background. But I don't know. I guess I don't listen to music when I code. Maybe I should. Maybe it'll be more relaxing if I had some smooth jazz, but... and that'll force me to fill every possible moment with talking out loud. Oh, new to Twitch, how to disable chat window. Oh, yes. Oh, you can remove the panel. Okay, yeah. Well, you probably all have a different screen than I do, because this is the Stream Manager. Very fancy. Okay, so now I will return to what I'm doing, which is actually building some HTTP app. And so what I'd like to do is, I know what I did. I had a front end. So now I should have, if everything compiled correctly, these horribly named things like Zio, CLI, front end, whatever. And now I can go into here and make a new directory of source. I always forget the order of this, but I think it's source Scala main. How do I not know that? Source main Scala. Because I always got to remember, you can have main, and you can have Scala, or you can have resources, or G8 or something in there. So Scala is the last decision you make, I guess. I don't like all that nesting. But I've got to do it. So source main, and then at the end Scala, and then Zio, and then app, and then CLI, and then front end. Let's go like crazy nested. Yeah. But at least IntelliJ sort of packages that all up. And then I'm going to have just a thing in here called front end. And hopefully we have com.rakwo. Okay. I don't see com.rakwo. Com.rakwo laminar, and I don't know why. It should be in there, I think, but I might not have put this in the right place. Oh, I'm in shared. And maybe someone has already pointed out to me that in chat, and I'm sorry. But I will figure out how to get I'll assume someone has done that, even though there's probably a less than 50% chance that's happened. And then next time I will figure out how to actually have chat. So if people tell me nice things that are helpful and I ignore them, that won't happen, or it'll be my fault. Okay, so now we should have com.rakwo.laminar.api.l._. Also, I know there are conventions, and I know that I don't follow them, and I know that Zio doesn't follow them, and I know that like other libraries, certain ones don't follow them. I guess it's the question is, are you safe with just laminar? It's a small thing, but man, I sure do like just doing that. And yeah, I know there are probably good reasons to not do that for every library in the world, but I think laminar, you deserve a top level namespace. I will fight any other library that tries to come and take this, or I just won't use it. Rename yourself if you have some, I don't know, aerodynamic physics processing library. I forget what laminar means, something about airstream flow simulation math. Very cool. But yeah, you deserve top level in my top billing. Okay. So now more copy pasting code. So eventually we'll get to writing code, but there's just a little bit of boilerplate that I don't feel like rewriting. So one thing is this. Oh yes, there's the whole style sheets. There's a bit of a, I'll kind of talk through it as I do it so we can at least understand all the little annoying moving pieces. And I will pop back over to see Scala time. Yes, I have one Scala video. And are you on full screen? There's a button on the bottom left. Oh, replying to. That's helpful. Disable chat. Okay. All right, up to 12 views. So what are we doing here? Oh, by the way, since some people probably joined late, I'll give a 10-second overview, which is we're building a full-stack Scala app. Not this one. This one exists and is written in full-stack Scala, and just is listing out some pointless GitHub issues for Zio test, or for Zio and a bunch of different Zio libraries. But we're instead doing this. We're getting extremely meta. Whereas that is running using a, it's dead now, but it's lived on in the browser with a little CLI tool. So you could say zio-app dev and get the CLI tool to start up the whole file rewatching compiler, hot loader, front-end dev serving business, which will then die because I'm not in the right directory. Except that's a CLI and it's annoying to write, and I was thinking of sort of fully dogfooding this and also turning that into a little web app. So when you type in this command, your browser will open and it will be a beautiful, shiny thing like this that has, proper syntax highlighting and can do all sorts of tricks like code generation and perhaps inspecting the current state of your repo and showing you the folder structure. I don't know. You can do all sorts of crazy, unnecessary things that I've actually never really seen done before. Even Rails can't do that, and I want to beat Rails. That's my goal. I want to destroy Rails. The student becomes the master. I'd like that arc. So, yes. Lovely. Okay. So anyway, that's what we're in the process of doing, as I also navigate using Twitch for the first time. And I hope I haven't just explained that to the same 11 people who are here at the beginning, but I made that quick. So, okay. So let's see. Now I have to go back here, and I guess I made a separate main function. I'll just copy this business here for now. So front end, there needs to be a view in here. We'll just try to get something on the page. I like feedback loops, and we've been going for a while with having nothing, howdy, at all. I do very much like their type aliases. Okay, so we have a main. I will use IntelliJ Magic to move this main. And then I will also jump back and forth and grab all this business. Actually, all this business. And go back to main. I should have just made a new class to start with, but I didn't. One annoying thing is that when you move files, it gets confused about certain... It tries to limit your imports instead of just copy-pasting them wholesale. I wish it did that, but it doesn't. So it gets wrong sometimes. There is no view method here, so I will, instead of typing it out myself like a pleb, I will allow this to do it, and I'll just put a little div in here and say howdy. I thought I already did that, but I must have then undone it. Undone it. That's the word. That's what we say in English. Import comrack or laminar. Oh, I've gone to the shared version of this. So I have done it, but I've left this stub here, which is nonsense to me and can die. So I wasn't crazy. I thought I was going crazy for a second there, because I definitely remembered writing the word howdy, as I often write. Okay, good. But this couldn't find it. Okay, it was probably confused because there were two front ends. And now everything makes sense in the world. So, what's happening here? Well, there's also this intention to import some style sheets, which we can save that for step 2. I don't need them right away, though I do like styles and things to look good, so we will fix that quite quickly. This is basically going to, render into some app div our front end, which is this div right now. Only if we do some more setup. So let's do that. The question is where to put all of this stuff. It's very much like a mega repo right now. We have the core and then a CLI and then an example and then the front end. And I kind of will copy what I just did for the examples. In fact, I kind of did this for the examples already, where I have this vite config business, which is what I use for instead of Webpack, because it seemed to be slightly faster. So I'll copy this config into the Zio CLI frontend. I will also copy in this index.html into the Zio CLI frontend. And I think that's all I need for now, which will just I can rename to zio-app. And inside of this, I probably need to change the name from zio-app examples to zio-app CLI front end. And I should probably change the port here, something different eventually. That'll be interesting because I might want multiple, you might want to have multiple running at the same time, but that's kind of a detailed question. Let's see if there's some questions here. Oh, Milkface! Hey, Jakub. Jakub? I'm saying that with an upward swing because I'm dreading that I've mispronounced it. So feel free to type phonetics into here. Kubikos. Why Kubikos? Yes, I no face. I feel better without no face. With no face. Without no face. And at least for now, until I become a Twitch. I'm just dipping in my toes into this confusing cold or hot boiling rapids of the internet. Okay, well here's how I did it in terms of dealing with Vite. I basically copied the general idea from someone's example. I think Eureks, who's you'll see very often. He's the person who did Laminext and he's one of the main users of Laminar. And has some libraries for it. And he had an example repo where he used Vite, and that's how I was like, oh, this looks good. I'm guessing he used this for the reason. And then it seemed to be slightly faster of a hot reloader. What I did was, well, let me get it to work first, and then I'll explain it. Because if it doesn't even work, then I'm sad, and there's no point in explaining it. So let me also copy over some more important silliness from the other example folder. And then we will go into, we'll cd into, we can make some nice... Oh wow, so many files right here, really getting messy. First I will run yarn to install these things. And then I will split my terminal in twain, and I will go back to this front end thing using FASD, as we've discussed earlier. If anyone wants to inform the newcomers in the chat of the beauty of FASD and all its powers. Highly recommended. Worth the price of entry of your time. Okay, so I'm in here. Now I'd like to run yarn exec Vite. And ideally, I open this up in the browser and we see that it is exploded somehow because it cannot find the bundle that I'm telling it to link to. So yeah, totally. It cannot find the bundle that I've told it to link to, which is awesome. Now, there's no main.js where I said it was going to exist because it doesn't exist there. JS, so I need to fix another thing in the config file because I'm so terribly nested right now. I need to tell it to not go into JS target, but into I think just target, actually. I think just target, because this one had a JS bundle. So this will just be in here when I finally run it, which I will do now. So that's running over here. I will open up an SBT over here, and I will shift the boundaries to prioritize this. And now I'm already in front end. Oh, that's clever. Was it able to figure out what subdirectory I'm in? I think it was. Lovely, lovely. And then I can do fast. I should be able to. Let's see, projects. Where am I? Who am I? Okay, I'm here. Can I compile? Is anything working at all? Not found value render. So I'm actually going to go up to the root real quick, maybe opening SBT and not in the folder with the build SBT file confused it. And then I can just switch into that project front. Can it be clever for me? No. Project CLI front end. There we go. Okay, that looks better. So it was very confused. Now I can try to compile, which it might compile. And now I can do a fastlink.js. And hopefully, if I haven't screwed up, we'll see howdy on this page in T-minus now. No, not quite. Because probably this is very verbose. So target 2013 CLI front-end fast stopped. Oh, I probably need to restart the Vite now that the main exists. Or I have multiple things I need to kill. So this is a very lovely command that I use all the time. Kill everything. Die, Java, die, Node. Obviously, I just killed the SBT server I was running, but it's nice to kill everything now and again. Level the playing field. Slash and burn all errant processes. And then we'll start up Vite. Okay, and it seems to be sad about some escape codes business. zio-app CLI. I don't care about that right now, actually. That seems. Did I update to? I guess I didn't try running this since something. Anyway, I'm in the wrong project. There we go. Lovely. Okay, and now maybe it'll work, or no. Okay, it's still broken because I'm hitting the wrong file. I'm sure. Let's figure out where this actually exists. So there's a target folder now. There's a Scala 213. There's a. Oh yes. Oh, CLI front end. Okay, so it's not the folder structure here. It's what I actually named the. So it's here is where it should exist. CLI front end. No, CLI front end fast stopped in this case. Okay. Now we'll restart Vite, and now it should exist, and we should see howdy there. Ah ha 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 ha. Howdy. Amazing. And now what we have is actually better than that. We have ourselves some live reloading dev server. Because we have both the front and the back end, and I just gotta find the little shifting bar here. Why can't... Where do you exist? Drag. I thought I saw the handle. Okay. Whatever. We are going to, just for a minute, while I show off what's going on, have no room. So howdy. Okay, that sucks. But what about h1 howdy? Which is not a div, of course. Let's wrap that in a div, so I don't have to change the types. What will this do anything? I probably am not running the... Oh no, it did. Okay, the first times it takes a minute. It's heating up. It's that JVM warm-up time, I guess. Who knows? Now we have 4 howdies, all right? How about we have, list.tabulate 300 n how n. How about that? Does that compile? Is that valid JavaScript? I feel like I've screwed something up here. I definitely have, because it's not compiling. One error found. Expected comma. Or no, expected no comma. There we go. Yay! Okay, so now we have 300 howdies. That's amazing. Obviously zio-indexed as howdies, as greetings usually are. Okay, I'm going to minimize this and then figure out how to get that so it's not taking up so much of the screen. And we'll see if there are questions. Zio-indexed. Hey! Hey, and I just saw you follow me this minute. That was a great pairing of my emotions. Yeah, I'm sorry for sharing this this very personal stream manager window. I don't know how to not use this. Oh, you know how to do streaming. You've streamed before. You can tell me how to exist in this world. What are the etiquettes? What are the social norms? What do I say? What do I do? I probably should... second screen. I thought that would be it. I thought maybe there'd be some magical trick. I guess I do have one, but the pixel quality is so bad. That's funny. Oh yes, Facade. Fast. Very much recommend Fast. Okay, so run yarn install. I already did that. Okay, so anyway, we have the we have a bit of what we need to accomplish. Okay. Let's see. Pin chat on a second screen, like a phone. Oh, wow. I could probably, just have it on my phone next to this and then look at that. That will be ideal. Next time. Now there'll just be sort of awkward delays and then I'll just share everything. But next time, I will learn. I will grow. Become supreme. So the goal was to merge these windows in a way that maintained this little gray indicator. So I could drag this and make the chat really infinitesimal. And then probably drag this out of this window because I didn't mean to do that. Can you make a quick demo using lit? Lit, like lit is in like the superlative, like that's lit. Making a lit web component. I'm not sure, but if you give me a more specific direction and I will... Oh, I don't know what this is. I will explore this. And this looks like a pretty website. They've earned my curiosity. But I'm not sure. I guess this is web components. Okay. On top of web component standards. I've never fully understood what web components even are, right? This is JavaScript, but it's just JavaScript you get to write differently. Custom element. I will explore this, because I'm guessing this is good for interop with Laminar. Yes. My knowledge is very, not evenly distributed. I pretty much only do what I'm interested about, which has left me very lopsided. But it's fun. I'm glad I've somehow managed to survive. I was looking a little iffy there for, got fired from too many jobs in a row. I'm just not good at lifting boxes. Okay. But I was good at doodling on the boxes. They were very well decorated boxes, which were not being lifted to where they needed to be lifted to. Okay, so got my howdies, very beautiful. Now we can live reload and I can change the screen dimensions. So the whole point of this app, by the way, I could tell you, Yakub, is that we want to, well, I'm using the same local host here. So I can't show you that, but basically, I have this little thing that I'm not using currently. So I will cancel Vite. And just for your entertainment, edification, I made this thing called zio-app that you can use, zio-app. It's this little CLI. You can make these sort of it's like the Ruby on Rails, that's the aspiration, Ruby on Rails, but better and type safe. And you can make new applications, and it sort of gives you this opinionated framework that you can't exit gracefully out of the new command. And then you can run this dev thing, which starts up a couple of SBT shells, and then also that same Vite web server, and then you get this, which is, this is the app that I was working on previously. This is a little full stack example. And so you can search, and it uses everything in its full stack Scala, and you can get it sort of for free out of the box. And the nice thing I did was basically port over AutoWire, or rather, I didn't look at the implementation, but port over the idea of AutoWire to being sort of a Zio first thing. So all you do is in some shared project, define a trait, and then on the back end, you derive routes for that trait. On the front end, you derive a client for that trait, and then you can just call the methods, and then it's RPC stuff, except more opinionated to the libraries, so you don't have to configure them as much as possible, and it'll all sort of be this very opinionated omakase, batteries included, sort of full stack app framework. At least that's the idea. And the next step, one that I'm working on now, if I ever move forward, is now it would be building, instead of this ugly terminal interface, is to dog food this concept and build the actual sort of live reloading thing as a front-end application, as a full stack Scala application. So we could do really fancy things potentially, and show the sort of the SBT output in the web browser. That would be sort of the first step. If I can accomplish that, which is my goal for this session, I think I've just decided that would be a nice start, to see sort of that same front-end, back-end stuff in the web browser, sent over WebSockets. And I think I could do that. I think I could even do it in half an hour. We'll see. Maybe people are doubting me. AutoWire is kind of cool. I actually used it. Yeah, it was. I never got it to compile. It was the only problem. I liked the idea of it. I liked reading the README, but it involved too many little fidgety things that I could never actually. To provide your own server and front end stuff. Just do it for me. I'm very lazy, which is why I want to build this thing. I have to be not lazy for a minute, but once I'm done with this, I will be very lazy forever. Very excited about that. And yeah, so right now am I in the right file? No, I'm in this other file. Okay, that's the other project. Now we're back to Howdy, and I will remove that stuff. And so I think ideally I could eventually extend this to be able to do streaming and sort of interpret Ustream into starting a WebSocket connection. But that sounds like something I'm going to want to do. But instead I've kind of already done it's actually quite easy. Or not quite easy, but it's easy enough just to do a sort of a bidirectional WebSocket streaming thing. And basically, you don't need to worry about that, because if you can express everything in one giant sealed trait for your protocol to be sent back and forth between the front and the back end, then, excuse me, I've had lots of LaCroix, got tiny hiccups. And the you could just sort of shovel this back and forth across the WebSocket connection, and then just handle your deserialization and serialization logic in one place, and it becomes pretty painless. And in fact, I've already done this. So as I've been doing a lot, I'm going to open up another project that I've made in my vast dung beetle castle of past projects. This one's called Zio Slides, and we sort of went over this in one of, I think, the first couple of laminars. I just have a big bag of words in my brain that I reach into, and sometimes I pick out the wrong one. And I meant symposium, and because I probably shouldn't keep making up words for things, but I couldn't resist symposium. Okay, so there's this application which I'll idea dot, and while it's loading, I will, because I check to see if there are anything here. Zio Slides, yes. Have you seen that, Yakub? It was pretty cool. I was pretty excited about it. Yeah, no, not anymore. This one is the one that does not explode. In fact, I could just show you guys. So there was, can I? What's it called? If I can think about it. Zio World Ergonomics? No, that's not the one. I think it's just Zio Slides. Yeah. Population 1. And if there becomes population 2 or 3 in just a moment, as the Heroku node winds up, then we can take a look at if this actually works or not. It does. Hello. So see those numbers decreasing, and see that awkward little bar there is terrible, but that's because so here, let's try it. Live demo. Join me. Join me. So there are 2 people here right now. 3, we don't need Twitch. 3, hello. 4, lovely. Today we're going to build an interactive slide out with Zio. I hope you see this on your screen. And it's actually going to work. See, that's the redeeming part. And if you want, you can click on the word symposium, double click on it rather, and it'll take you to question asking mode. So you can then type something to me, and then you'll see what happens. This is a slideshow. There are different steps. Yes, okay, I got one question already. I'll show it in a second. Everything is written in Scala, and basically, yeah, it's being broadcast back and forth with WebSockets, and we have a special guest with us, Tushar Mathur, who's not here today, but he was when we gave this, and we even have polls. So try to poll, or there you go. I personally like Zio HTTP, and when the votes get just to the right distribution, oh no, there we go. Now I could freeze it. Haha, frozen. And now for the questions that were asked, I can click on them, and it'll take us all back to the page where the question was asked. So when someone asked, the quick brown fox jumped over to lazy dog, I was on slide 1, step 0. So I get these questions to choose from, and then it'll show them all to you. On my admin screen, I see all the questions. And then it takes me back to the context in which the question was asked. So that was kind of like little, that could be a fun thing to do. And it's all animated with my sort of animation library, and it has a back end and front end all written in Scala and Zio, and uses all the fancy like Z-Hub features to make this massively performant. And we actually got, when we did this in the second symposium, we got, I think there were like 60 or so people connected. And then we sent them all a DDoSing script, and it actually survived the DDoSing. Everyone was kind of connecting, opening a new WebSocket connection every 300 milliseconds. It was pretty awesome. So that's what that is. And for... So that's the source of that is online too. It's a Zio Slides, I think. Zio Slides. That was kind of the first. I think I put that up. Did I? Yeah. Zio Slides, an interactive WebSocket-based slide presentation app. So you can run your stuff. But in here, I have done exactly what I was saying I wanted to do for this one, which is do WebSocket connection. So we could actually take a look at the code for this. And, well, not everything, but there's this thing called, so there are these commands. There's the server commands, which is what the server sends out to each of the clients over WebSockets. So, there's a new slide state, when when the administrator sends an admin command and moves the slide up or down, or changes the step of the slide, or selects a question, that gets sent to these are all client commands that get sent to the client. It could be sort of vague, but I've just decided this is the target. We're targeting the client. Or no, these are from the client. See, it's easier to get switched around. So these are the client's generated commands, and then the server's commands are broadcasting the current slide state, the question state for the votes, or for the questions and the votes and all that, and the population statistics and everything. And so this is in the shared repository, and in the backend, I've used slide app server. There is a I don't know why this is not compiling fully, but that doesn't really matter because I don't care. This is basically all of the wrong page. There we go. So all the server code is basically, most of it is this. When the user joins, we just sort of grab a whole bunch of streams off of this trait, so that we have these different streams, the slide state stream, the question state stream, and then we just bundle all of those up and pump and pickle them into bytes and shove them into a WebSocket frame. And then, yeah, that's basically it. And that's kind of what we need to do. A much simpler version of this, because we don't need to worry about performance as much, because it's going to be a single person with a single application that they're working with. And there's some other stuff there. Yeah, you have to be the admin to change stuff. And then on the front end, it's very nice because, why is it very nice? What did I call it? Main? Well, let's see what it is. Slides, okay. There's this beautiful library called, WebSocket, I guess, but it's part of this Laminex package, which basically, I wish this were compiling, but you can build, you specify two protocols. The messages you're going to receive from the server and the ones you're going to send to the server. And then you just get to sort of treat this as a first-class citizen in Laminar. So the cool thing is this WebSocket.received function. So this is going to emit a stream of events, those command-type events. It would know that if it were compiling. I don't know why it isn't. And then just gets to do stuff with it. So I'm updating a whole bunch of reactive variables, which are then updating the state and changing, so, you know, the slide when everyone moved around. So it's very cool and pretty lightweight. And as long as, once you have that sort of boilerplate set up of this WebSocket and the backend, then all you really have to do is keep extending your sealed trait. That is these, your two sealed traits, potentially, that are these, the protocol. So it's not quite as nice as the AutoWire style. And so I'd like to figure out if I could sort of subsume that as well. But for now, this will have to do. And this isn't so bad. I could probably bundle this up into at least like a couple of lines or something more opinionated. Babadi boo biddy bop. Let me see if anyone has any thoughts. Anyway, see ya. All right, cool. Get a Tearsky on this. Oh wow, stuff happened. I don't even know where is what. Okay, yeah, it's working. Do. I'm gonna make stuff work for work and tell you what when you don't think I'm cool. Okay, yeah, hell yeah, I'll join your stream tomorrow. I think you're gone now probably, but if you're not, I'll join you. Stream buddy. Now 13 UTC. Yeah, I'll have to translate that, but I'll assume there's some kind of scheduling feature. Okay, no, I can't. I've reversed a linked list or two in my day. You can invert a linked list. Yeah, I've reversed a linked list. Not recently. Yeah, no, I hate programming interviews as much as the next person. They're terrible. I would not look like a very good developer on one. Probably. I've bombed many of them. The best interview I bombed was I was just learning Haskell and I was so excited about it. And the task was to try to like write a CLI to scrape Amazon results. So you just need to basically like paginate through their API and just like scrape their website, and dump out, you know, for some search query, all the results. And I was like, oh, I'll use Haskell. I'm sure this will go well. Haskell is not really built for doing that easily. And so it was very embarrassing and slow moving, and became awkward as interviews do when they're going badly. Okay. unfortunately. What am I doing here? Oh yes, I'm in another application. 6 a.m. your time. Thank you. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that. You're this like my little mini hive mind. Not that I want to detriment any of your individuality. And thank you, Nathan Knox, individual constituent of the hive mind. However, it's nice to have people in the passenger seat. Cool. I wish, yeah, maybe I could try doing code with me too. We could see what that works like. That might be insane. That'd be fun, actually. I'm gonna do it. Read only. Guests are restricted from making changes on your machine. Don't start a voice call. That's probably best to not enable changes, just in case there are any sort of malicious actors. But if anyone wants to try to join in, I don't know what that link will do. Check it out. I think you'll appear. Oh wait, but I'm in the wrong. Don't follow that one. That's the wrong. I'm in the wrong project. Sorry, one sec. I'll do that again in the right project. Let me first copy over what I needed to steal, which was this. I needed to steal this, and I need to go back over to the other projects. Stretching. Oh, very important to stretch. Okay. Where are we? Front end. Yes. So I needed this. Laminext WebSocket. Okay, I have that. I have none of these things. So I guess I'll copy the same sort of server command, client command method, $G. These will have to move into the other repo. Oh, I'll call it client command. And then I'll need a URL, which I believe is just going to be always HTTP localhost, well, 8088 for now, /WS, or maybe it's WS/this. I could see what I want that to be. And then pickle, I actually had to implement myself because that didn't exist. And so I will just copy this little implementation that I made here and make a new class called pickle party. That makes sense. And I'll paste that in there. And boo pickle socket. Pickle socket. Yeah, that's my favorite word of the day. Laminext WebSocket Builder. Just need to import some stuff here. What's initialize mean? What? I wonder if I needed to actually have this inside of, because in the other project I had it nested under WebSocket, and initialize seems to maybe be a private WebSocket thing. So okay, fine. I need to put it in the fake package directory there. Okay, cool. Don't need to do that. Initialize, unpickle, receive, and it's just boo pickle's fault. So this will just tell it how to serialize to and fro. So we're gonna pickle up our data types that we're sending over, and then we're going to unpickle out, as long as there are picklers, implicit picklers available to us. And I'll move this, I guess, to the right pack. I'll just keep it here. As long as that doesn't break anything, I'll keep it there. And then maybe I can import this. Okay, and there's no user command, there is a client command. All right, and import pickle.default, and this will just derive picklers for these things. And then I will import conversion. Actually, I don't care about reconnect delays. I don't care about any of this stuff because it's all going to be local. So it's the best kind of development. You don't need to worry about any of the problems of actually deployment. I am going to quickly reveal the magic behind the machine and click on this button, which is going to put the text what on the screen and allow me to step out for 2 minutes, and I will return in 2 minutes. Hello, listeners, and welcome back. I had to deal with the inevitability of drinking too many LaCroix. The nature calls. And I've returned from my adventures, and I feel much calmer now. Yeah, cool. So, I didn't want to die on stream. Okay, Zio slides. I'm here. So I'm in the wrong file. I'm going to go back to this one. And I'm going to also find where my browser went so that I can actually do this now. So now if anyone wants to, I'll try this because this is going to be silly. If anyone wants to join, I don't know what's going to happen, as I mentioned. But now this is in the project I'm actually working on. So come and, if you want to get extra interactive, so I could probably see you select text in suggestive manners, select things, subsets of words to communicate, I suppose. Fro, etc. Okay, so yes, I have the front end, the server. Okay, so we got the WebSocket stuff on the front end, which obviously isn't really anything is happening here. Though I will try to do something. So I'll say received, and then I will pipe all of these messages, whatever these commands, and I'll just print them. So I'll say received command. Too many M's. Comonad. Okay. Once it did happen to me that I was reading too much about Pascal, and then I read the word command, and it really looked, I didn't understand it. It was like, why did they misspell comonad? What's wrong? And it was with me. Was the problem? And then the last thing I need to do is call connect. But I'll wait until I actually have a backend doing anything before I connect. So let's go to the backend and let us see what to do here. So I am once again going to steal code until I figure out build it into a library in a way where I don't have to do this. I think server is where I had this code, slide app server, yes. And so this is sort of the top that I need, the top level method, which is going to be, sure, let's just steal all this. Root, yeah, so I need to import all of HTTP, I believe. And then there is no such thing as a slide app anymore, and there's no such thing as a user socket. And there's too many things there. Cool. And then the next thing I'll need to do is, let's see. I guess I could delete that. And then I'll need to come up with the socket part, which will be pretty trivial. For now, I think I'm just going to steal this one. This does a lot that I don't really need. I'm going to do the more basic one. Okay, so let's take the socket thing from ZHTTP. And I don't really care about an environment here yet, though I will. Oh, and then I also had a function here. I had a pickle socket method that I wrote for dealing with that pickling on this side of things. So this could definitely be used in a library because this is kind of an annoying amount of boilerplate to write. And I think I also need to import boopickle underscore potentially. And then the next thing to do would be to receive client commands, which do not exist here. And then I will just basically do nothing. This is for, yeah, I'm going to receive client commands. And I'll just basically say print line, basically the dual of the other side. Received client command. It obviously also doesn't know what these things are because I need to move them. So let's find client command. And let us take both of these things, well, one at a time, and go into the shared, zio-app CLI shared, which we've made an errant front end thing in here. And I will make class, Scala class, and I will call this protocol, just so I can have them together because they're so simple right now. And also grab this and put this into the protocol file. So we'll do that, and I'll rename this to protocol and move this into that folder, and then delete this front end so I don't get confused again as to what package I'm in. And then I'll have to re-import all these things, and IntelliJ will be mostly helpful in this process. It has failed me at this one though, so I'll just import all things. Is it not client command? I've somehow lost it. That's fine. I think it sometimes only moves a piece of it. Okay, so now we have the full client and server commands. I don't know why I'm only working on 66% of my screen real estate if I'm not actually using the browser, but it's nice to have the greeting. I will make that larger. Oh, I'll make that part larger. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so almost there. Almost have some kind of feedback going. Then the next thing I need is to import. Well, I think this is confused. And I think client command. Oh, I know the problem. I don't think in the build file we have depended on CLI shared. No, there's no dependencies for the CLI. So let's depend on CLI shared and rebuild, and then we'll see it. And then we can send some commands back and forth. And in order to do that, I'm going to take a look at what I did here, which I believe handle open accepts the stream. So I can do socket open, and then I can join these two socket handlers together, which is kind of nice. So let me go here, and I will join this with that syntax. Now let me first, one step at a time, because it's not even compiling until now. Okay, was it this syntax? No. Let's do this. Handle commands, and then I will say val handle open will be socket dot open socket dot. Interesting. I've clearly socket.open. It's right there. Let me take a look at what version of zio-HTTP I'm using. 15, RC15. I wonder if they've changed the API or something on me. Pickle socket. This seems to be working, and I don't see anything about socket in here. So socket.collect is here. Socket.asStream. That's fascinating. I wonder if they've changed the constructors. Where's me open? No, not good. Okay, let's go to build and check out zio-HTTP. What version am I using? I'm using 16, so I would think that, I hope they didn't remove any features from this. Let's go to Dream 11, and I will search for their socket server. It's missing. I think that's because that was actually always a mislink, if I recall last time I tried to look for that. Examples, socket, WebSocket Advanced, socket app. Okay. Interesting. Called after EastMed. Okay, so socket app is different. Interesting. So they changed the API. I'm wondering why. I kind of like it as one, but I'm sure there were reasons. Okay, so val handle open should now be socket app dot open. And on open, you get back a socket. So I need to give it a socket. Okay, so I'm gonna once again have to look at their API. I'm not entirely sure what to do there. So open socket.succeed. Yes. Okay. So I think what you're supposed to do is, and this might be actually from my own feedback, actually, because if you can see, yes, I think so. Basically, the recommended approach is that the user, in order to, so the way the normal socket work does, socket.collect, is that this expects a function that will return a stream, I believe, or yeah, it'll return it's a stream, a partial function that might return a stream. So your stream can be long living in there, but it requires the client to at least send one message first, and then you can respond to that message with the stream. So you could just make a message, which is what I think was what we came to be the sort of the recommended approach, which is just something like a case object called subscribe. So the client has to sort of initiate, beyond just joining the socket, it has to say, hey, I would like to subscribe to your commands. And then I will say something just like whatever. Message, which will just take a string in here and be a server command. So we'll try that. And so we'll listen. So we won't have a separate open handler. We'll just have this one. And the reason was that so that people can like DDoS you just by connecting, and then if you give them a stream back every time someone connects, it makes it really trivial to do that. So this is actually a best practice. So and then I will say case. I will comment this out really quickly and say case, and then client command. Wait a sec. Oh, I need to give it. It needs to know what kind. Client command. Oh, actually, there are multiple potential things. So I'll get the client command, and then I'll do command match. Okay, so not as terse as maybe I'd enjoy. And then I can just decide what to send back. So here I could say zstream.from schedule. And then, how does this work? zstream.repeat. I'll just do a repeat effect. So it'll call some zio effect over and over. This will probably be the easiest way to accomplish this. And I will just say zio of message, sorry, of server commands dot message, and then howdy for now. And then I will, actually let's make a slightly more interesting one. Random server message. I will use zio.random.random.next int next int, and then I will with this map that int and make a server command dot message. So we have some environmental dependency here, which will make it slightly more interesting. Message of an int, so that we can at least see that we're like receiving multiple values here. And then I can repeat effect. The effect I can repeat to make a stream out of is random server message, and then I can call after this. After doing that, I can do some sort of zio.sleep of 1 or whatever 500 millis, just so we don't get totally overwhelmed. And come on, find the import. Sadly, failed today. IntelliJ has failed me. Duration _ Okay. So we're going to repeat that effect over and over and over again, but then we need to, oh yeah, how does pickle socket work again? Pickler, and then we're going to, it needs to have of a WebSocket frame, a ZStream of a WebSocket frame. So we need to ourselves pickle it back up. I could probably abstract that as well. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. So let's just look at what I did. Yes, I mapped the output and I pack it in. So that could totally be part of the same command. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just append that business onto the end, importing byte buffer, importing unpooled, and importing a byte buff. So these sort of Zio HTTP wraps Netty, and Netty wraps Neo, and so you've got these 3 layers of, you have your byte buffer 1 and then a byte buffer 2. Who knows? It's kind of confusing. Maybe I'll just mush it all into one line. There we go. Really ugly now. So that's our command, our server command of a response, if you will. And I think that's compiling. It kind of looks like it. So I should be able to say private def app. There's no password at this point. I should be able to make a response of a socket that takes an admin socket. Perhaps, unless the API has changed. This might need to be collect M at this point. Sockets. Are you not happy? You want a socket of a RE WebSocket frame. So let's take a look at what it thinks this is. Random nothing. Socket. Okay, how does this work? RE, nothing, WebSocket frame, WebSocket frame. That is exactly what I'm providing. But it's not happy because it thinks it is a socket of console clock with random nothing. That's odd because it's like a very different number of oh, I think this is maybe an older version that I was using. WebSocket frame, WebSocket frame. RE, WebSocket frame, and this could then, I guess, explode. Oh yeah, print lines can die now. I don't like that change, but I will put that there. I think that's gonna shift again. Okay, so that's what happened. Good, I can regenerate it now and it knows everything it needs. So it basically has zenv in here. Now that when we require a certain critical mass of massive default properties, you may as well just say that. And then this seems to be slightly confused. Okay, collect was good enough. Response with a socket. Okay, so that's a z-app of, or this HTTP app that requires a response that has a zenv in it. And I think there's some there's this thing called an HTTP app that is a type alias. HTTP app, which is, okay, a request, where the response has the same type as that, which it, I guess, isn't in this case. The request has a different one. HTTP app. Does that work too? Maybe. Okay, I'm just going to go back to what it was. It's a little verbose, but it's fine. And also, we don't need it specified. I could say app here. Whew, and sorry for not checking the chat. I just really wanted to get this to all compile, and it might compile now. I don't know. Let's try to just run it. Where's all my... There we go. Here's some tabs. Good. Here's the back end. Here's the front end. Let's just make a new one here. And I'll go to the zio-app. Start a new SBT. Projects. Zio, or is it CLI, which is the backend portion. Then I could try to run main, or let me say restart. Then do I get to give it a... Shoot. I have multiple entry points now. So that's going to be awkward if this finds the wrong one. Main zio-app. I'm just going to comment this out, and then I'm going to also check the build SBT that there isn't, I'm not saying main class anywhere. I think I am. Main class. Yes, I'm saying zio-app main, but really what I want to say is zio-app backend. And then I can uncomment this out and it'll find it correctly. But I will need to reload, and then I can call it. So lots of little steps here. Kind of, yeah, it's crazy amount of stuff. It's going to keep going before I forget it all. So projects, maybe I could do, am I in the back end? CLI, projects, CLI. Yes, I think I am. So I could just say restart, theoretically. And I could even make it file watching restart, which might be nice. Oh, and then it looks sad about this. Procedure syntax is deprecated, escape codes. I don't know where that came from, because everything was fine. And this just happened to me earlier today. So why? Yeah, okay. I was wondering what all these little procedure syntaxes were. Let me fix them all with Vim. Okay, so it looks like we've got ourselves a parenthesis equals brace, except in a couple places where that would break everything, like here. But I think besides that, it's all good. Let's see. Where'd my terminal go? Well, hey, now's a good time to go to chat. Nice. Okay, haven't missed anything. Woohoo! Okay, let's see. Almost there. Almost there. Now there's just one problem. Illegal start of a simple expression. Yes, I thought I may have done that. Somewhere on line... I keep losing my terminal. It's jumping around. Mac is really bad at keeping track of Command Tab. It jumps around everywhere. 148. So, oops. And now everything should maybe compile. That also looks wrong. While Any other problems? I think it's all good. Oh, more issues. Overloaded method needs return type. Well, that's very confusing because these are all units. And I really don't care about this part of the code at all right now, but I would have to delete a lot of code. Let me see if I can also use IntelliJ to automatically add all of the units here, and maybe that'll make it happy. I don't see why, because it's all the same return type, but it seemed to make it happy. Almost. May not be exhaustive. It would fail. Oh, I know what I did. I set up, I think I imported something that had, I don't care about this. View 110. Like, this is that fatal warnings thing that I feared. Case underscore throw new error. Oh no. Okay, fine. I really do hate fatal warnings outside of CI. For this reason, it slows you down as you're actually doing things. But it's also nice to have. Maybe I left that unfixed for a while. Okay, cool. Server's starting, which means that potentially now it's safe to do the next step, which is actually connecting it. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think there's, like, you know, at least a 40% chance that it will work. All I need to say is websocket.connect. And then theoretically, it'll connect. And then we'll start us. Oh, yeah, I know what we need to do. We need to actually also websocket onConnected. So when it gets connected, it's going to call this call back, and then we can say send, and we can send the client command subscribe to actually send it to the backend. And then here we go. We're receiving a bunch of nulls back. That's awesome. I mean, that's better than nothing, but it's definitely not ideal. So we're getting a whole bunch of nulls. Over some WebSocket connection. It looks like every 500 milliseconds, which is pretty great. So I don't know where the problem lies. Probably in the pickler, or something I did, maybe in the back end. So we're getting a random server message. Server command. Oh, it's re-importing stuff. This should just be a server command. I don't know if that matters. It might matter that I specify this, because it may have been over-constrained. WebSocket can... There we go. That was the problem. Because of the pickler, if it's a sealed trait, it needs to basically encode it differently, because it needs to tag it with some information, versus it just being a message when it doesn't. So it's important to actually specify it as a type. So here we go. Every 500 milliseconds, way too many messages. We've received messages from our server, which is awesome. So at this point, we should be able to theoretically become much faster. What I'd like to do is instead change well, we can keep message, but we can also say state. And so I could say backend lines is a chunk of string, I believe. And then, yeah, let's start with just the backend lines. And I think that'll all pickle correctly as well. I'm not sure if that'll pickle out of the box. So we have some state now. And now what we can do is actually use Zio to organize our application a bit, because it's getting a little hairy. So it would be nice to have some kind of like SBT manager. I don't know what the name should be. I'm just going to go with the very generic manager approach, which I generally hate, but we're going to do that and just say backend SBT stream. And this should be a use stream of a chunk of string. We'll import that, and we'll also move this into its own class in the backend. And then we will create ourselves a companion object for it, which we'll use eventually. And we'll also make ourselves then an SBT manager live, which will extend backend SBT or SBT manager. Okay, so this will be the implementation of it. And how will we do this? Well, we currently have a way to do this already. I think it was in that dev mode thing. It was this whole, like, where was it? Object dev mode, run SBT command. It was private, but we'll make it not private. And this is also private, and we'll make it not private and not private. And yeah, it's basically just backend lines. Returns us a stream. It can throw up on us, but besides that, it's fine. I don't think it needs all of ZN actually. I'm going to unconstrain it, because it's in this case now I actually kind of do care. Yeah, it just needed blocking. which is actually going away soon, which is lovely. So you no longer have to manually describe that. And then let's do this. And then I'll just have everything sort of regenerate itself. What do you think you need? Okay, is that correct? Yeah, it seems to be happy. Okay, so IntelliJ is deeply confused about all of this. Yeah, I don't even know how that's possible, that it somehow loses the blocking dependency here. Oh, I think TUI subsumes that, actually. Yeah, it provides that for it, which is nice. So, okay. Let us see. We have this now run SBT command. Basically, what we need is backend lines, so we won't worry about too much. And now we have this SBT manager, so we will call ourselves backend lines, which hopefully it finds in dev mode, which it did, which can die. So what does this die with? So it needs blocking, so we could start with that. Zio.blocking.blocking.service. Excited to in Zio 2.0 get rid of services so that you don't have to write all that information, and then we could just say provide has blocking. So that'll provide that environment, but the problem is still that it can throw up. And I wish there was an or die for these, but I don't think there is. Or else fail. Or else fail. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to have it die otherwise. There should be an or die on this. And I think it's a little awkward. So instead, I'm doing the next best thing and say it's just a task stream. I think that exists. Does that exist? No. Okay. Something exists. A Ustream. Okay, just a stream does. So we'll have it a stream of throwable. So we'll change the type to allow it to die. Fine. I'd like to figure out how to not have to do that, but okay. Now everything's happy. So that was very stupid. We didn't really need to do much, but it is nice to sort of separate it out of this interface so I can kind of clean it up a little bit later. And so here I say SBT manager live, and then call toLayer and specify this to an SBT manager, which will propagate the dependencies up into layer dependencies, which in this case, because of the type alias, it is kind of nice just to say blocking, but yeah, we're getting rid of that. So anyway, so now I have my live layer for SBT manager. So now theoretically, I should be able to, instead of doing random server message, I can instead not repeat an effect. Instead, I can call my, one last thing I needed to do. I don't think have I ported it into this yet. Extends accessible. No, I have not. No worries. I basically need a method for doing the same thing. It's zio.access. It's actually zstream.accessStream. And then I will say on SBT manager, we would like to grab ourselves the backend SBT stream. And this is going to basically delegate to this method in the environment, but still get back a zstream. So this is a zstream now that has an environmental dependency. So it's this accessor pattern. And this can actually be a val. It doesn't need to be a def because it takes no arguments. And now in the back end, we can call that like it's a method, and it will correctly propagate the environmental dependency. So I should be able to say SBT manager dot backend stream. And there we go. The only problem is now I have to regenerate the types. Now we need console with SBT manager. But otherwise, then everything compiles, except for at the end of the world, if I actually try to compile this with IntelliJ, it should figure out that it has no definition. It has no layer provided. So we just have these dependencies that are never satisfied. I think it should figure that out. I don't know why IntelliJ is being a little daft today, but luckily you can't fool the Scala compiler. This now depends on SBT manager. Correctly so. And then when we run it, in here we'll need to provide it. So this is where we can use the Zio magic stuff. I'll already prematurely know that it involves other dependencies. So if I were just to compile this now, it's going to tell me that it's missing just SBT manager, even though it also needs console because it's provided by custom. And then I could just say SBT manager dot live. And even though that depends on blocking, it'll still get provided its transitive dependency by inject custom, unless I lied. Contains non-has types, SBT manager. I've probably screwed something up. Have I screwed something up? Ooh, I wonder if I'm not, is that, ooh, has blocking.service? Am I, ooh, I may have screwed something up in my implementation. Or actually, what's more likely is I probably haven't upgraded the version of Animus. Yes, that's way, no, zio-magic. Maybe that's actually the current version. Zio-magic. Zio-32. Okay, no, that's the most current version for sure. So maybe I have a regression, actually. So that's very interesting. Or I've screwed something up. It's good to dog food your own libraries. I don't know what is wrong. Let me see. Well, I'm glad it wasn't that. It seems to be something else. zio-app SBT manager. Oh, is there... Oh, this is wrong. That's very wrong. That shouldn't be happening. Backend... Oh, yeah, why does backend stream... That's why. It's my own... That's not how you use access stream. It's not quite the same semantics as the other one. You need to accept a... That's why I have this... That's why I made the service with operator, because this involves... You have to have a has in here. And yeah, it'll be nice to have one that works slightly differently. Service with stream or something. Okay, so now I'm actually getting the compiler error. So I was just kind of lying to myself. Let me regenerate the types. And it was the code was working. It's just impossible to provide a layer for that because it was just a single trait. So now if I run this, it should be able to, even with that should not be broken. It should still work. Okay, so we have the, oh shit, I didn't actually want to start that here though, because I'm running it in the back. Yeah, and I probably killed that because I tried to start up multiple servers. There we go. Okay, so now the question is, we're receiving a bunch of errors, or we received 2 errors, and then, what would be interesting is to actually output something, because I'm not sure, is this running, what is this doing even? This would be starting up an SBT server potentially, and then running it. That's a lot of stuff. Let me see what's happening. So I'm calling backend SBT stream, which is great, which is this one, which is going to call backend lines. But I might also want to call on this sort of tap lines, and then I'm just going to do a UIO of print line lines. Because I'm not sure what's happening. I'm not sure if this is even running. Okay, that seems to compile. SBT, let's try this again. Project CLI, restart. There we go. Okay. It's totally running. We're getting a chunk of lines, then we're getting some errors, and it's eventually exiting because invalid commands, which is fine, shutting it down. That's great. I don't care about that. What it should also be, then, providing it to the front end, which it might not have been. One also thing to keep in mind is that... Oh, yeah, so this is an interesting thing. No, okay, so when the user connects, it's going to start it. So I might also want to just, on subscribe, print lines saying, like, client subscribed. And I'm not sure if it can actually, maybe it can't process a chunk into this thing, because I got all these errors here, and I'm not sure why that would be. I think maybe I'm going to try to not serialize the chunk and just take it as a giant string. So let me go back here and go back here. No chunk. Definitely can serialize a string. And that would be nice if it could do that, but maybe it can't. And then I can, before I can map the result of this and call make string with new lines. And that should work as well. Okay, and then we should still see every command we receive. So project CLI, restart. Be nice to have these next to each other. It's just going to keep trying to connect forever until it finally does. So when these stop erroring, that'll be a good sign. 31. Okay, it held. There we go. Received command null. Error. That's super fascinating. I don't know why that would happen. Error. Back and restart. Nice. Okay. And as you can see, every time I reload the page, it actually starts it up again. So I've got to be careful to only have sort of one SBT connection, no matter how many times you connect to the same project. But totally am getting command null, and I don't know why that would be. I am expecting to receive a server command. Oh, you know what? It's the same problem. It's the same exact problem that I had before, where I need to sort of cast this as a server command. So that's an important thing. Otherwise, it's going to be serialized incorrectly. Ooh, can I not say this? Oh, it's a string. Oh, it's just a string. I've never even turned it into a server command. What am I doing? Val command is going to equal a server command dot state s. Okay, so maybe it would have worked with chunk. It probably would have. And then I'll make sure to widen the type here, and then pickle into bytes the command. And now, if all's right in the world, it should restart itself, and I should be able to actually see SBT output in the console on the browser. So I'm going to restart here. There we go. Yeah, that's it. Awesome. Easy. No trouble at all. That was fine. Maybe it would be cool to actually then, instead of just dumping it into the console, actually visualize it on the page. I really hate the styles right now, but we're just going to go with it. So I'm going to have a little reactive variable called output var, which is just going to be a var of an empty string. And then I'm going to get the command that we get here, unreceived. I'm actually going to be able to here say case. Oh, can I do that? Case. It should be able to. Whatever. It seems to be confused about the types a little bit. Command is a... this would be a server command that we receive, and then I will do command match here. And for message, we'll just print line message string. And for this one, we'll actually take our output var and set its contents equal to backend lines. Cool. And then what that means we can do is we can make a big like pre block here, and I'll just make it separately. I'll say output view, and I'll do pre, and I will just take child.text and dump in the result of our output var. And I will then render output view here. Okay, and now I'll check on the server that everything's happy. Oh, hey! There we go. It seems to, welcome to SBT 1.2. Hey, there we go. We got SBT in the browser. No problem, no problem. And if we can get one SBT, that means we can get two SBTs. And if we can get two SBTs, then we can have 1,000,000 SBTs. And that's the goal. Infinite SBTs. Okay. Ugly, horrible, but proof of concept sort of complete. A lot of boilerplates to write and some silly things we needed to hack around. But actually it wasn't that bad for what it's doing. It's kind of cool. So yeah, I can make this look way prettier, more like the other thing I was showing before. And then add all sorts of, using this bidirectional construct, send commands to do certain things that then the server would respond to, like restart them, start up new ones, generate files, right? Because this is just a local app, you can use this to control, send messages to your shell. Here's a stupid one, which is like I can make a big button called say stuff. And when you press on this button, let's be very silly, on click, I'm going to write a little callback of what to do. And I'm going to send to my WebSocket server a new client command. A client command that doesn't exist yet called say this. And it's going to take some kind of string. And where's that string going to come from? Well, we're going to make input var, another string, and we'll make a little input here. That's going to be controlled, I think. And the value is going to be determined by the result of the input var. And then on change, we're going to map to the value of this input and pipe that into the input var. And then when you click say stuff, it's going to get the input var's current value called now. And then we need to create this protocol case class thing here, which is going to have a string, and it's going to extend client command. And then lastly, in the server, on the back end, cannot add value to this element. I know I'm screwing something up here, and I completely forget. Use input event instead of on change event. Oh, I've done this before, and I don't know what I've done. It's such a simple thing, and I know it's like obvious, but I forget. I'm just gonna remove this controlled bit, and I think it'll basically work the same. No, it won't. It won't update it because I'm doing something stupid. Oh, I just don't remember. Map to value. I'll plug it into the input. Here, I am taking the input var and piping it into value. Let's go to laminar dev. This is supposed to be a silly little 1-second example, but I've forgotten how to operate controlled components for a second. Zip var. No, you take a var on inputs. Maybe I need to just do on inputs. I don't know why I need to do on input instead, but maybe I do. And then that's the same idea. It's just on input instead. Is it happy about that one? Oh yeah, it's happy. Oh wait, no, it's the wrong tab. It's not happy. No, it is happy. Okay, it needs to be on input. I don't know why it needs to be on input. It needs to be on input. That's fine with me. So now we have this little way too small thing. Go to the back end. We are listening only for subscribe, but we can also listen to client command. Yeah, IntelliJ is confused. Say stuff, message. Is it happy about this? Oh yeah, it's like super indexing. It's very, very confused. But it doesn't matter. We'll just power on through. sys.process is something you can import, and then we can make a zstream.from effect, where we'll say inside of this, say, and then we'll string interpolate our message, which is very dangerous, but it doesn't matter at all because it's only we could do it. We're on the same machine. And then dot drain to just run this stream for its side effects. Message. Yeah, I'm working without compilation right now, so say stuff is not a member of protocol client command. I disagree. Client commands. Say this. Fine. Say this. All right, backend. You can succeed where IntelliJ has failed. Okay, it's compiling. The front end's compiling. I should now be able to. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. Say, what's going on, and then click say stuff. And then, oh, no, nothing. Whoa! Oh, I've totally exploded everything though. So that's awesome. Unmatched quote. Okay, I've failed in. Oh, because I added a quote here. So yeah, you got to be careful when you're doing this full stack silly business. Has it recovered? Is it happy again? What's going on? I don't hear anything. So let me retry.
Iowahu.
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 Cool. Wow. Nice. Nice. Wow. Cool. Okay. It doesn't want to say anything with spaces in it, or I've just killed it somehow. Otherwise, actually, I think it's just due to the fact that wow. Nice. It's that when SBT dies, maybe. No, I don't know. Something else is happening. But Iowahu worked.
Iowahu.
So that's the only thing. Yeah, I don't think it likes spaces. Maybe because of the way it's serialized. Yeah, it seems to be like some kind of limit there. It kind of gets thrown off. Or something else is happening in the background. Yeah, I think it's when SBT dies. Okay. So there's a lot of work to be done. But the point is we could do cool stuff potentially, like saying stuff unnecessarily, which we shouldn't do. And yeah, I might just be talking to myself, so I'll poke in here. And oh, there are a couple people. I'm sorry I neglected the chat for so long, and I don't know what's happening here. Oh yeah, on input, you got it. Yeah. Yes. Iowahu, everyone. Yeah, that was super fun. Yeah, that was cool. Thanks for joining. I don't know who's still here. Three wonderful people, probably maybe Ghost Dog and Nathan, and some mystery guest. Uh, the busted server command. I can, but I'm not sure which one you refer to because there's a lot of things broken. I didn't check in with the chat for a while because I was onto it. Are you referring to why SBT is exploding? I really need to open this up on my phone. Whoa, 7 viewers. What happened? I'm just wrapping up here, actually. There's one last question. But basically what we've gotten, if anyone cares, is we have a web browser that we can make, say stuff, and also run SBT. So we're running SBT in the web browser until it explodes. We can also say stuff until everything explodes. Which is, the good stuff. Oh yeah, I think the failure takes down this whole WebSocket connection is what's going on. So if I could figure out how to ignore WebSocket failures, that would be great. I forget exactly how to do that. Maybe I could just say retry on fail. Yeah, I could probably do that. Retry schedule dot forever. So now it shouldn't die, but now this will introduce a clock dependency, which shouldn't matter because it's part of zenv, but I might need to propagate that here, and then everything should be happy everywhere. And the backend should maybe never die, or it'll keep dying and then regenerating. Iowahu. Yeah, there it goes, forever and ever. So now it's not going to take it down, the process. But I'll explain why that's failing. And that's because I'm trying to, the SBT command tries to run backend restart, which is not a command in this SBT. I don't have a backend project. This is sort of built for the zio-app new structure, so there is no thing here. I have a weirder, CLI thing. So it's just failing, and it's saying that there is no command. So it's definitely something we'd want to handle more gracefully. EAU. But now I can type forever and say whatever the heck I want.
Whatever the heck I want.
All right, yeah. Homebrew that shit, mothers. Oh, I added a, now it's going to break because I added a apostrophe accidentally. Now it's dead. It's dead. It's all dead. But no problem.
Homebrew that shit, mothers.
There we go. All right. Getting crude in the last final moments. Then experiments and tried to call into the stream via Discord. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I wish there was a way. I'm sure there's a plugin. That would be super fun to have this ability to have people to field questions in a maybe a more secure way. And that would kind of allow the thing that I was talking about during Zoom earlier, where it kind of feels like a one-way thing. And it's kind of annoying. So, okay, I said I would get SBT working in the browser, and it worked. And I see promise, even though obviously this is ugly, but it's going to be really fun to make this pretty. And yeah, maybe I'll probably do a little bit of that over the weekend. If anyone wants to join me, I'll try this again because it got me, it's better than a Pomodoro to get me to work for 2 hours and 40 minutes without stopping. Thank you, Nathan. Thanks for chatting and joining. And I'll see if there's a way to, have... Oh, I could always just, I'll keep an eye on Discord next time. Thanks, Ghost Dog. Thanks. Yay. This is super fun. And thanks to everyone else who is not Nathan and Ghost Dog. But thanks for stopping by. I'm going to click this button, which I think will stop the stream. Thank you very much, Spo147. If I know who you are, feel free to reach out on other things. Well, happy to talk about CSS and some design stuff. Basically you just kind of look at just copy is a good place to start. It's not too hard, especially with sort of the minimal aesthetic. I mean, it's hard. CSS is a nightmare hole. But yes, I think the prettiest front end design I've made was not even that pretty, but it's this app Omen, and it's animated with laminar and stuff. So if anyone's curious, there's this little thing, which is a flashcard app I made for the iPhone, which is kind of neglected, and I need to patch that. Someone gave me a 2-star review for being a bad developer because it's kind of broken in the newest version. But I got shit to do. I don't like Swift. Okay. Omen. Yeah, check it out. It's a spaced repetition memory app. There's one for the Mac too. It's free. It's all free. Check it out. Czech Republic, that shit. Okay, I am out. I'm going to eat some dinner. I think I smell things happening that are very tempting in the background. So thanks again, everybody. Bonsoir. Bonsoir.